welcome to the No Pick Show, where there's no hand holding. We do it fast on emotion. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification if you haven't already. Also, make sure that you hit the hype button after the video has finished airing. Right now we live, and if you're a member, you heard a couple of these things before, but now that there's more and more smoke surrounding the situation, I figured I'd just go all the way public with it. If you follow me on Twitter, you already seen some of the tweets at Cheddar Chaz, CHEDDACHAZ, pardon me. Looney, what's the deal, bro? I see you in the building. Salute to you. All right, so after the game, after the Utah game, of course, it's the Utah Jazz. The Utah Jazz are tanking, but the Pelicans ain't playing much better. The Pelicans have been playing like a tanking team, even though they, by all accounts, are trying to win. So here's what I was told. So after the game, I hit up someone in Poole's camp who I'm cool with. I'm like, yo, man. Whoa, what's up, Louisiana gal? After the game, I hit up somebody in Poole's camp who I'm real cool with. I'm like, yo, I'm kind of popping shit a little bit. I'm like, yo, I see your man's did his thing. You know what I'm saying? Your man's Poole, JP, he a real professional, because if it was me, I probably wouldn't even have played. I'd have been like, fuck it, everybody else out, I'm out too. Whoa, what up, Jaden? So bro was like, yo, man, yeah, JP did his thing, but it's a shame. He should have been playing. I'm like, yeah, it's been bogus. This whole year has been crazy, right? From a coaching standpoint, from a deliverables standpoint, from Jordan Poole. Cause I don't think Jordan Poole had a great season, but I'm sure he wouldn't say he had a great season also by any stretch of the imagination. But the part that really stuck out to me is when he said, yo, Joe told Borrego to play Poole and Looney, but he hasn't been doing it because he know that as an interim, he can't be fired. Now, mind you, this is the same James Borrego that a few games ago was starting DeAndre Jordan. Like, just randomly starting DeAndre Jordan once a week. Every 5 games, DeAndre Jordan would just start a game randomly, right? And I was like, yo, this is crazy. So the order came down from the top to play this guy, him and Looney, who are making a combined like $30 million. I'm sorry, combined like $40 million this year. Who were 2 of the quote unquote, I wouldn't say key acquisitions, but 2 of the key acquisitions from this offseason. And you're just not playing them. Mind you, Kevon Looney's on the $8 million expiring. That, if the Pelicans decide to pick up that option, they would be picking that up with the intention to trade him. So I need him to look kind of at least decent. Whereas even with Jordan Poole is going to be on a $34 million option. He's an expiring. I need to drum up some interest for this guy. And you're just not going to play him. Like, you're just refusing to play him. Now, it don't help matters that the first time Jordan Poole comes out and plays, when we haven't seen him in quite a while, he was getting coaches DNPs. Well, what up, 2X? What up, Kayla? He said, like, the first time we see him play, he goes out and has an incredible game. 30-plus points, almost had a 40 ball, you know what I'm saying? In his first game returning to action in quite some time, if I'm not mistaken. So that kind of hurt a bit of the narrative as well that was being put out there. Whoa, what up, Corey? That kind of hurt. What up, Coach? That hurt a bit of the narrative that was being put out there as well, because it's like, yo, they may be infrequent this season, but this guy is capable of outrageous scoring outbursts. Like, this is what this guy's been capable of historically. Now, prior to a lot of this happening, I was told months ago that, Jordan kind of feels like there's no organization here from the coaching staff. There's no direction. There's just no, it's just no nothing. It's just everybody just trying to survive. Everyone's just swimming, trying to make it to land. Whoa, what up with you, Lee? What up with you, Lee Sandoval? Peace, dog. Yeah, everyone just trying to swim and make it to land, right? I reported this a while ago that after game 3, prior to game 3 versus the Celtics, Jordan Poole and Willie Green had a bit of a falling out, right? Whereas Jordan Poole may have said some things to Willie Green. Willie Green didn't take too kindly to that. After game 3, Jordan Poole was benched like indefinitely. he was just benched, and he never really made it back to the starting lineup. He wasn't even the sixth man, which is crazy. He went from like a starter to like the eighth player off the bench. If you remember, there was a period where, Jordan Poole was shooting threes and he would stare down Willie Green. That Clippers game really sticks out because he had a really good Clippers game off the bench as well. But it was just total confusion from there on. And look, we can go, whoa, what's happening with your most hated? What's happening with your ex? What's happening with your homie? Yeah, Kayla, I don't think Jordan Poole's wrong in this scenario. Now, let's just go to the numbers here, man. Let's go to the numbers. Let's go to the numbers. We're going to look at Jordan Poole's numbers on the season. And the reason I'm bringing this up because, again, Jordan Poole did not have a fantastic season by any stretch of the imagination. But there were a lot of people, to me, this entire roster underachieved. Like, the starters on this roster totally underachieved. Jordan Poole didn't have, like, an incredible season by any stretch of the imagination. At one time, though, I think Jordan Poole was averaging about 17 points. And he was the third leading scorer, probably going into the last 2 or 3 months of the season. Now, recently, we've seen his numbers and shot attempts decrease drastically. Efficiency has been bad all season for the most part. 3-point percentage has been bad. Just generally been a bad season. Even the free throw attempts, he started off the season, he was getting to the line like 6 times, averaging like 90% at the rim. At one point, he was like 100% on the season, if I'm not mistaken. He was the Pelicans' leading free throw percentage shooter. Just going through Jordan Poole's entire career, this stands out. Like, his first 2 seasons aside as a rookie and a second-year player, this right here sticks out like a sore thumb. And it really makes me feel like this is more of the coaching and organization versus the player. Because it's such an anomaly compared to the rest of his career. Like I don't want to say prime years, but his junior year onward, this one really sticks out. It's worse than his first year in Washington, and that's saying a lot. He's only played 38 games, started 7 games on the season, averaging the third lowest minutes played in his entire career. They really blackballed Jordan Poole. For me, I don't have a dog in the fight. I just don't like whole shit. I just don't like a lot of whole shit. I don't like politics. I don't like a lot of sucker shit. And a lot of that is going on this season. Again, with the Kevon Looney thing, like Kevon Looney last couple games again, and no one's gonna say Kevon Looney is still, prime Kevon Looney. But Kevon Looney put up some decent stats last season. And this season, when he played, he's been like okay. Like, he wasn't like dog shit when he played. The last time I remember him playing like noticeably for, I guess you would say, some extended minutes would have been that Miami game, which like in the first couple minutes I think he had like 5 rebounds and like 4 points in the first few minutes. Only ended up playing 14 minutes that game. Finished the game with 9 rebounds and 6 points. It's sad to say, but that would be one of the better stat lines from some of the Pelicans bigs. Versus Utah, again, a team that's not trying to win, but showed up. 12 total rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, 7 points. Make sure I had the right person, because that stat line sounded suspicious as a motherfucker. Like, do I got the right person? The man has played 20 games this season. 20 games. He started 7. So he's another person who pretty much fell victim to what was going on here. See, to me, Kevon Looney not playing wouldn't be as much of an issue if DeAndre Jordan wasn't playing. But the fact that DeAndre Jordan is playing, it just makes it look that much more crazy. Like, to me, it's just like, all right, look, if we was going to move away from like the elder statesman, let's just move away from him. But the fact that the bro is playing, that just makes the entire thing look like a joke to me. It just looks like a joke. Whoa, E-Dog, what's happening? Kayla says, it's really sad that, though, Poole got done dirty for solely calling out the bullshit with the coaching staff. And look, he ain't the only one that's kind of been fed up with this recent iteration of the coaching staff. I'm sure, we've talked about DeAndre Jordan and his dissatisfaction with the coaching staff for a while now. And to me, it really speaks volumes to, it's the same coaching staff, and you've had about 4 or 5 people fall out with these guys. It's probably the staff at this point. Now, of course, with DeJounte's falling out everywhere he's gone. But I do think a lot of it is the coaching staff and just them being substitute teachers for the most part. Like, I don't think I feel like all these guys have probably forgotten more basketball than I'll ever know. But at the same time, Vic, what's the deal, bro? At the same time, it's like there's no excuse for this. Like, there's no excuse for the way this team has performed, especially in March. No excuse for it. If we look at the Tankathon here, the Pelicans are 8th, right? They had an opportunity to get as low as 10. But let's say that they're 8th right now as things currently stand. The Celtics are playing tonight versus the Knicks. I'm sure Jaylen Brown will probably play tomorrow because Tatum is playing tonight. So, I mean, let's say hypothetically the Celtics rest everyone and the Pelicans win this game. The Pelicans will probably stay at 8. They'll probably be locked in at pick 8, barring a jump into the top 4 or Milwaukee jumping into the top 4. You could say, all right, whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? It happened. It's time to move on. Like, if this was to happen for the Pelicans, this would be all right, in my opinion. Like, if this was the outcome, Pelicans stay at 8. Milwaukee stays at 9. It would be a cool outcome for the Pelicans, right? Now, on top of some of the Jordan Poole information, and again, if you remember, you heard some of this before. On top of the Jordan Poole information that, I was able to acquire recently, there was also, a tidbit today from Scoop B about maybe retaining Zion. I think we've all spoke about Zion potentially being extended at a bit of a team discount, right? We'll go through the article and we'll, get some of your thoughts. And it's actually a small piece in there about Jordan Poole and John Morant as well. Whoa, what's up, Victoria? Say, hey, Chaz, I've been waiting on somebody to finally address this. Yeah, whoa. Yeah, that's why I'm here. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to keep it real with you. Dev, what's the deal? He said, I think most secure jobs in the organization are assistant coaches positions. We'll have a new head coach with the same assistant coaches. God, I hope not. I hope not. Casey Hill gonna fuck around and get his pension with the Pelicans because he been there way too long. But the crazy part to me too, and one thing I'm glad Victoria said that because I want to mention this. If you notice, like around the time that people started asking, like, yo, why isn't Jordan Poole playing? And again, Jordan Poole did not have a great season. But when around the time people started asking, like, yo, but why isn't he playing? Because Herb is having a terrible season. Jose is having a bad season. Everybody really having a bad season. So why isn't he playing, though? Like, it's like you're singling him out. Why isn't he playing? Why is he getting DNPs when you need somebody who's at least a threat to score the basketball? And again, he was averaging 17 points, if I'm not mistaken, when he was benched. So that's when you started hearing, as a response to, yo, why isn't he playing? You started hearing, oh, well, he's a team cancer, locker room cancer. No one wants to be around him and no one wants to play with him. That's pretty much like verbatim what was said, right? That's the narrative that was starting to be like spun out there. And again, I told y'all before, you got to do the knowledge and connect the dots. The same group of people that consistently advocate for James Borrego and make excuses for James Borrego are the same people that said Jordan Poole was a team cancer. The same, like anybody, like let's say Zion, for example, right? Let's say Zion has a bad game. Let's say he scored like 20 points. He get like 3 rebounds or some shit like that, right? Bad Zion game. That's the same people. They're not going to say, well, Zion only got 10 shots. We need to create ways for Zion to get more shots. We need to share the basketball. They're not going to say that. What they're going to say is, well, Zion just not good. Zion just not a good player. It's not the coach's fault. Zion just not a good player. That's what's going to be said because everything is to insulate and protect James Borrego. James Borrego has relationships with the media. James, like I'm telling y'all, it's real. People are afraid of being frozen out by this next coaching regime because they already pretty much been frozen out by Joe Dumars and Troy Weaver. Like, they don't really trust anyone like talking about it. So they're not giving a ton to the local media. So when there's confusion, when there's an absence of truth, lies get to prevail. So the people who, they feeling a little bit of a way about being frozen out and Joe and Troy not ingratiating themselves to the media. So they running with Borrego's spin. They running with Borrego's narrative, and that's how some of these things are coming out. Louisiana Gal said, I was told there's a 55% chance Jordan Poole returns next year. Honestly, it wouldn't shock me. I'm not advocating for it or against it, but it wouldn't shock me because I could see someone saying, well, it was the coach. Like, the coach just fucked it up. We didn't get along with Willie Green. We didn't get along with Borrego. When we bring our staff in, we'll be able to evaluate things better. I can see someone totally saying that. Like, you know what I'm saying? And even 55%, it's not like a super high percentage, because that means it's a 45% chance that he's gone. But the fact that there is a real chance that he starts the season on the roster, that should tell you a little bit about how this current coaching staff is evaluated. Maybe things change during the offseason. Who knows? But we'll see. I think the timing of this article is also a little interesting. Jaden say, Chaz, do you think there's going to be who you think going to be the next head coach? I think Tom Thibodeau, he kind of matches, you know, the mold of some of the guys being named. Like, Tom Thibodeau, for what it's worth, he'll get you to the playoffs more times than not. He gonna extract every bit of value out of whatever roster you got. The roster probably ain't gonna be great, but he gonna extract every bit of value out of that motherfucker. And, you know, and also, look, now we can talk about a little bit of how to improve this roster. I agree, Looney. Anybody tied to Willie Green gotta go. Like, even right now, the Pelicans have, and I'm not saying this about this brother because I don't really know him, but he's been with the team for quite some time. The Pelicans assistant GM, Joe Dumars and Troy Weaver, inherited. Like, they haven't even had a chance to really fill out their own front office. They haven't really had a chance to fill out their coaching staff. It's just, they just hit the ground running, and so far it's been a disaster, right? So, D say, Poole seems like he needs the coach's confidence to play his best. Makes sense why he seemed so hesitant when he did play. Also, you had a guy like, and again, Kevon Looney also didn't have a great. Lil Derek 15 say, I'm tired of Willie, do I gotta go? Well, Lil Derek, I don't think you making any decisions for the team, so you probably good to stay. Now, if you was in the front office on the coaching staff, you might have to go. But since you're not, I don't know if you is, I don't know. But if you aren't working for the team, you should be straight to stay. But I thought again, you didn't see a ton of sets with Zion, Trey, and Poole utilized. You didn't see a ton of sets with Kevon Looney setting screens, creating spacing for some of these guys. Again, everything was difficult. Everything was ISO ball. And again, Jordan Poole did make some terrible decisions this season. But fuck, to be fair, so did everyone else. Like, so it's hard to really like harp on the off the glass alley when trailing. I think it was versus Houston, if I'm not mistaken. They were trailing. I think he tried to throw it off the glass for an alley. But it's like I can point to about 13 Herb Jones plays in like one game that are far worse to me. Or, you know, a couple other people as well, like Zion giving up offensive rebounds, Trey's perimeter defense. Like, the whole team dropped the ball, in my opinion, no pun intended. Trey said, join late. Chad, what you think of the contract valuation for Zion extension by Scoop? 30 million feels fair, to be honest. I think if he take 30 million, I'll be a little shocked. I think he does get a bit more than that. I think it will probably be the upwards of like 35. But if he took 30, I'm gonna say this: if Zion take 30 million, he wants to be in New Orleans because he would get more on the open market. He would get at least 40 on the open market. Or if someone traded for him, they would probably give him 40. If he take 30 to 35 million, he wants to stay, because that would be crazy to me. That's like my name alone justifies me getting 40. Everything else is like my play and all that shit. That's debatable. Because somebody gonna say, oh, well, look, he played all them games. If I'm Charlotte, shit, I'll take a chance. I'll give him 40 million. You know, that's how people gonna, you know, spend it, in my opinion. Kayla said everybody needs to be fired Monday, April 13th. Get him out of here. ASAP Rocky, get him the fuck up out of here. But yo, we gonna go through the article, man, because the John Morant, I shout out to 2XK, shout out to Trey. The John Morant thing is coming up, so let's talk about it. And yo, while y'all in here, man, hit the like button, Share the live if you can. I'm glad y'all enjoyed the collaboration I did with Jake. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Look, well, my bad. Look, Derek said, yeah, I was never so on I want to be here. But if he was, then I look at it different. But even if you want to be here, I still rather move on. That's fair. That's fair. Some people are just tired of all of the inconsistency. So I get you, dog. I totally understand that perspective as well. Bronx said, what's good? You think the Jazz game was with the Jordan duo trade value increase game? That's what I thought when I saw their stats. Nah, I think the sample size is too small, to be honest, Bronx. I think both of those guys are just going to be viewed as expiring contracts this season, honestly. That's why I think not playing Jordan Poole and giving him a chance to at least, at worst, inflate his stats, then you did a total disservice to, like, me trying to trade him, because I can't build bricks without clay. You know what I'm saying? I can't build bricks without clay. I can use baking soda, but I can't build bricks without clay. I need some type of positive evaluation for this guy. I need a team to say, well, look, I see what he's doing. They just using him wrong. I'm going to trade for him. I think what's going to ultimately end up happening is he probably will be moved, or at least start the season on the team. Say, would I rather eat a Built Bar or Anthony Davis Ruffles? I never really liked Ruffles, but I probably go with the I'll take a sponsorship from either one of them. So that's all I'll say. I'll take a sponsorship from either one of them. I'm probably gonna say Built Bar, because I don't like how Anthony Davis Ruffles sound. That sound crazy to me. Like, whoa, I just had some Anthony Davis Ruffles. That just sound crazy to me. So I'm gonna say Built Bar. I'm gonna go with the Built Bar. Let me say baking soda. Come on, man. Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. You can use lactose too. But anyway, as I'm reading the article now. It say, as the 2025-26 NBA season draws to a close, the New Orleans Pelicans find themselves at a pivotal crossroads. Boom, 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 boom. It has been a season defined by a snowball effect of injuries. Well, they ain't really have a ton of injuries, to be honest. And a mid-season coaching change, leaving the front office to stabilize a franchise that possesses one of the league's most unique superstars and blossoming core of young talent. With the regular season concluding, the Pelicans' focus has shifted toward a transformative offseason. Despite a difficult record, recent flashes of brilliance from their rookies have provided a much-needed silver lining. Now we're going to shift to the coaching carousel. It's going to be more mention of Darvin Ham. I didn't really see any mention of anyone else, though we know a few other names have been connected. We heard about Stackhouse. Shout out to Louisiana Gale. I'm hoping for Sam Cassell as well. We heard about the Mike Malone thing. We heard about Mosley, of course. And if you've been following me, you heard about Mosley last year. So, shout out to everybody who have been here and been supporting. Kayla said the Pelicans cannot start the season with both Poole and DeJounte. That's $60 million combined. Yeah, Poole supposed to be making 34 as an expiring next year. Well, this offseason. Following the dismissal of Willie Green earlier this season, James Borrego stepped into a live audition to implement his signature high assist, pace, and space offensive scheme. Borrego, this nigga wanted to play pace and space, but never mind. Borrego, the former Charlotte Hornets coach, inherited a dismal 2-10 start and has worked to instill accountability in the locker room ravaged by health issues. The team hasn't been ravaged by health issues, though. That's the thing. Like, Zion played 60-plus games. Trey played 60-plus games. I think Herb played... How many games did Herb Jones play? Did he play 50-something? But the team hasn't been ravaged by health issues. I'll say that. Team hasn't been ravaged by health issues. I don't agree with that assessment. Oh, what up, Bree? Say, hey, chat, I saw your members video. Do you think Poole doesn't talk to the media because of certain media members? I think generally the team just typically don't do post-game interviews. It's been that way the last couple of years. A lot of these dudes, they not real like heavy on accountability. Like, if they lose, they not going to face the music. Like, they just be like, all right, I'm out of here. Motherfucker hit the showers and leave. Like, they don't. When they lose, they typically haven't spoken in quite a while. When they win, to be fair, when they win, they might not speak sometime too, but when they lose, they almost never speak. Yeah, Herb Jones played 56 games this year, so that's a lot of time. The main injury this year has been DeJounte Murray. Like, the biggest issue has been his injury. Louisiana Gale said Joe would prefer to move DeJounte over Poole. I can agree with that as well. I can totally agree with that as well. I can see that. Because you're talking about more money on the books, a more malcontent personality, a more like vocal personality as far as like, now Poole is vocal as well, but he's not like a media person. In fact, the people I talked to, they like, man, we want to get Jordan to talk to the media more. We want to get him to get out in front of the camera more and kind of give his perspective on things. But, that's just not his personality. A lot of the Pelicans like that. That's interesting to me. Where was I? Oh, despite the respect he has earned from the roster, this is in reference to James Borrego. Despite the respect he has earned from the roster, sources familiar with the situation suggest that the Pelicans are unlikely to remove his interim tag for the 26-27 season. While Borrego could potentially return to an assistant role, a path he took previously with the Orlando Magic. Now, mind you, he was also an interim head coach for the Orlando Magic. He was dog shit there too. The name echoing through the halls of the front office this summer is Milwaukee Bucks assistant Darvin Ham. What was that in Orlando? Now, mind you, I'm not a Darvin Ham advocate, but Darvin Ham does have a better coaching record than James Borrego. Ham, who coached the Louisiana, why the fuck I say Louisiana? Ham, who coached the Los Angeles Lakers to the Western Conference Finals appearance and an in-season tournament title, is viewed as a strong motivator. During his time in LA, Ham marveled at the preparation of veteran greats, famously LeBron James' longevity to Michael Jordan. Personally, I want a tactician. I'm not. To me, the motivation shit is cool if you got a roster full of tacticians, but you can't just be a motivator. Like you got to be able to. You got to have some tact, some skills, some strategy. I don't want to presume that Ham doesn't, but I'm just saying. This ain't nothing here. Okay. Here's where they talk about the Zion Williamson extension. While the coaching seat is warm, Pelican sources tell me that the team's commitment to Zion Williamson is certain. The team, I'm told, is considering a 2 to 3 year contract extension this summer, worth $30 to $35 million per season. The potential move reinforces Zion's status at the cornerstone of the organization, even though he is currently midway through a 5-year extension signed in 2022. Now, I will say this. What they supposed to say? Like, hey, you gonna stick with Zion? Nah, I think we're gonna trade this nigga. We're gonna see what offers out there. We'll see what happens. Typically, the team won't say that because if you already feel like you don't have leverage, you're gonna lose more leverage by making him publicly available. Q, what's the deal, homie? You're gonna lose more leverage by making him publicly available. I don't think that they would even say that Zion was publicly available, even if he was. I think if somebody called you and said, "Yo, I got 2 firsts for him. What you want to do?" They unprotected first. I think Zion will get traded, but we'll see if that happens. By exploring this new agreement now, New Orleans appears ready to move past previous team protections and lock into their superstar with a more straightforward long-term financial commitment. Shout out to Louisiana Gale. Louisiana Gale said Joe hasn't told Zion he's the cornerstone. He just said he values him. Yeah, and to me, that's exactly how it should be. Like, just because you're the best player, that don't necessarily make you a foundational piece. You know what I'm saying? You could become a foundational piece, but that don't make you one. And in the 5 or so years, 6 years that Zion's been available to play, he hasn't always proven himself to be that. So it's like, I could value you because you're talented. Like, we value talent. We want to win. I value what you can do. But at the same time, I'm not building around you. I'm just getting as much talent as possible. Kayla says Zion the best player on the roster. Yeah, I think he is. I think he is. I personally, I don't think it's close. I don't think it's close. As far as like just talent. Now, again, it's about the deliverables though. Like talent wise, absolutely. Deliverables, not all the time. Man. Combat Jack, what's good, y'all? Whoa, what's good, Combat? I say, he said James Borrego hasn't held back on his praise for Williamson's physical. I don't think this is really relevant, to be honest. It's talking about comparing Zion to Bo Jackson. That's a rough comparison, to be honest, because Bo Jackson never fucking really came back after that hip injury. But the Pelicans were aggressive at the February trade deadline, engaging the Memphis Grizzlies in talks for Ja Morant. So Scoop is doubling down that the Pelicans were aggressive in going after Ja Morant. He's doubling down. Lala, what's the deal? Lala, how you doing? The proposed deal centered around Jordan Poole and DeJounte Murray in exchange for Morant and Contavious Caldwell Pope. Now, I think we all heard that a few times, right? Louisiana guy, I know you've heard that. I've heard something like that. I think we've all pretty much heard something similar around what that trade structure would have looked like. Now, mind you, since then, Ja Morant has lost even more trade value, and the Memphis Grizzlies have lost even more leverage in the trade situation. Also, take into account, DeJounte Murray has since returned. Ja Morant never came back. Whoa, what's good, Shy? What's good with your homie? Ja Morant has never come back. Contavious Caldwell Pope had another rough season. And, you know, I mean, hey, I would have to imagine. I'll have to imagine that Herb Jones, you know, his value within the team has decreased some. I'm not sure about surrounding, you know, the NBA around the league if his value has decreased, but I'm sure amongst the executives in the Pelicans front office, his value has decreased some. Also, add to that, the only thing that could take some leverage back away from the Pelicans in that situation in the potential trade for Ja is that teams just tend to have better offers in the offseason. And Miami, they fumble in the bag right now. So maybe Miami just say, fuck it, we tired of this. We gotta throw our chips in. All right. Louisiana Gal said, I also heard they'll try to go after him again. Yay, I believe it. It'll be interesting to see if he signs with the agency this offseason, if he hasn't already. So while the deal didn't cross the finish line, sources indicate the Pelicans will explore moving Poole again this summer and may explore moving Murray again as well. As for Ja Morant, the All-Star was kept in the dark about the trade interest. Ja didn't know, this is a quote from a source, said Ja didn't know who was coming at him until after the deadline. It was painted as if nobody wanted him, but that wasn't the reality. He wants to go somewhere he can prove his worth. Someone who actually wants him and where he can just play basketball. Sounds fair here, you know. Expectations probably won't be that high. No answer, AD still in this film. Oh yeah, AD is ridiculous. You know, I'm not gonna get into no tangent about Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis just act like he went on to have this illustrious career. It's like, bro, no, you didn't. Like you just act like you just went out there, you won about 3 fucking rings in a row. Anthony Davis act like he went on to have Drew Holiday career. Like Drew Holiday won 2 rings with 2 different teams. Like, AD, that didn't happen. Whatever. This nigga's crazy. But let's see. A veteran, I'm sorry. So now they're speaking about the rookies. Again, this isn't like totally relevant to the overall team building. So I guess we can just move past this. We'll look at the trade machine a little bit. Spot track be a little shoddy. Whoa, what's happening with your chunk? Peace, chunk. But I'm gonna try to put something together and see what it'll do, because it'll take us to next year, whereas Fanspo, if I'm not mistaken, Fanspo doesn't have an option for the 26-27 league yet. No, it don't. Now, here's something the Pelicans could do. Keep in mind, yeah, Ja can't shoot. But see, here's the thing, D. Ja is not a good shooter, but Ja is a winner. That's the thing. Like, to me, that's like, yeah, Ja can't shoot. He can't shoot. But that motherfucker he know how to win. Like, he just a winner. He's a gamer. And it's just like, even when I canvass the free agent market, it just ain't a ton of like offense out there, dog. Like, well, ain't a ton of like great shooting candidates out of there. You're gonna have to hit on someone like Amir Coffey having an out of body experience year, Sadiq Bey having a good year, Trey Murphy. Like, you're gonna have to, like, McGowan's shooting like 30-something%. You're gonna have to hit on a couple people that's not supposed to be as good as they ended up being. Even a guy like Carlo's still averaging like 1-3 a game, but he was shooting like 40% on that 1.5 3. Shit, get him more attempts. Put him in the corner and let him get some more attempts. Let him cut baseline and get some putbacks. You see, Bryce McGowan's played 42 games this season. He shot 40% from 3 on 2 attempts. Hey, let him shoot 4 motherfucking attempts. Let him shoot 4 attempts. Maybe it drops down to 37%. You know what I'm saying? But give him more shots. You know what I'm saying? All right, so look, we're about to look at the trade machine here and see how, if they wanted to do it in this league year, which they still could do in the offseason, because I don't think the league year turns over until what, like, is it July 1st or something like that? July 2nd when the league year starts over. So I think they could still do this trade under this league year, if I'm not mistaken. So the only question with Ja is, can he stay healthy enough to make a huge impact? Now, that is a good question, Josh Murdoch, but here's the thing. If you had the answer to that question and that answer was yes, he can stay healthy, then he wouldn't be available. Especially not for the trade package the Pelicans proposing. He would not be available for that trade package. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see here. I'm gonna catch up on some of y'all comments. Say Ja being a winner is kind of questionable too, though. Well, I mean, he took some team. He was the best player on a couple teams that went to the playoffs. When he has shown up, you know, he balled out, and you know, Ja would at least get you to the playoffs, typically, right? I mean, just typically. These say if they do get him, they're gonna have to trade DeJounte for like Van Fleet. Well, it don't have to be for Van Fleet, but I do imagine that DeJounte would be part of that trade package if I had to guess, right? Kayla said, I want DeJounte traded. I genuinely don't believe he wants to be here. His true feelings showed in that pivot interview. Yeah, I agree. I don't think DeJounte won't be here. And I don't think they really want him here at this point. It's just like they was dealt a fucked up hand this season. Shive say, would I rather Ja Murray? Oh, Ja, no question. No question. No question. Look, Derek said, I don't mind if you can't shoot it all the time. Look at Jimmy Butler. He reached the pinnacle numerous times, just know how to win. Yeah, some dudes just like with Ja Morant, watching Ja Morant versus the Pelicans for several years, the thing that used to always scare me, Ja Morant hit 1 3. Bam, he hit a 3. I'm like, oh fuck. Now it's about to get ugly. Now he getting to the rim. Now he getting and ones. Now he getting steals. Now he getting dunked. Like he just like a first domino motherfucker. Like once he see the ball go in, it's over. Like he just outrageous. Yo, what's the deal? 504. Whoa, Game Osborne, what's the deal, homie? Good to see y'all, man. Jay Black, what's happening, bro? Let's see here. All right, so if we basing it on the speculation from everything we've heard, right? We still need a center. We still need shooting. If you bringing in Contavious Caldwell Pope, you hoping that what KCP shot this year? Let me see what KCP shot this year, son. KCP, he must have shot at least 35% this year, right? Let me see Contavious Caldwell Pope. Let me see. All right, I'm glad I ain't had to spell out his whole name. Contavious Caldwell Pope, he shot, god damn, this nigga shot 31% from the three. 31% from beyond the arc. He's having 2 terrible years. His contract, he don't got that much time left on his contract, but he's having 2 terrible years. Oh yeah, yo, appreciate you, Game Osborne. Yo, while y'all in the building, man, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification. We're gonna look at some options with the trade proposals and see what would make sense in the proposed deal. But hit the like button while y'all here, man. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, so after this season, Contavious Caldwell Pope is going to be on expiring. He's going to be on expiring going into this offseason. It's a player option, so he's probably going to opt in, but then he'll be a $21 million expiring. So acquiring him wouldn't be too bad. You say, what's a realistic center we can get? I think if the Pelicans go into this free agency as is, like let's say they don't make any trades, you got Goga Patatse you could potentially get. You got guys like Marvin Bagley, depending on if you feel like Marvin Bagley is a 3. I'm sorry, not a 3, a 5. You got, Marvin Bagley, Marvin Bagley, Goga Patatse, and a few other like quality bigs. Man, Spot Track always got some weird shit happening, bro. Like seriously, they really need to update this site. Yeah, they're bugging. Let's go with available. My bad. So Hartenstein's also. Juan, what's happening with Zilla? I ain't seen you in a minute. What's going on, Zilla? Hartenstein's going to be available. Vooch is going to be available. Well, Hartenstein, they got a team option on Hartenstein, so they may or may not, decline that depending on what happens in the postseason. Clippers got a team option on Brook. I don't think you want Brook, but you got Robert Williams. I think Mitchell Robinson gonna be out of their price range. Zach Collins just always hurt. Yusuf Nurkic, if you want a big body, just professional big, no frills attached. DeAndre Ayton is almost certainly picking up that $8 million deal. Darren Sharp, they might decline his option. You got some options. You got like some rotational big options. You say none of them centers better than what we have? I don't know. I don't know. Harden, I don't know. I like Eve, but I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. But most of these guys you're gonna have questions. I think what the Pelicans really need is an activity big guy who just gonna rebound, defend the rim, and run the floor. Or you could, like, let's say if you feel like Eve is an activity big, rotational big, and you just want a center that can like give you some space and put the ball in the hoop, a big bodied center, then you would go with someone like Goga Patate if he's made available, right? So I think that would be a quality big to get. But let's go through this, right? So again, this is the deal I would prefer to do. This is the deal I would prefer to do, right? DeJounte, Herb Jones for Ja Morant. To me, that's the deal I want to do. 2 for 1, I create a roster spot. I get off a bad contract in Herb Jones. I take on Ja's contract, and I'm not giving him no pick. Your first is Herb Jones, because they could flip Herb Jones and maybe get a first for him. That's on them. Santi, I would leave Santi where he at. I like Santi, but I feel like if I got Carlo and Carlo could give me like a cheap ass Wish Timu version of Santi, I'll do that. I would just ask Santi to take. I would just ask Carlo to take more shots, because they paying Santi $18 million. He probably gonna be made available at some point as well. But and there's not a. I mean, in theory, yes. Okay, this is what you could do, right? If you was trying to get Santi, it would have to be something like this. Right, it would have to be something like Santi to the Pelicans, and like maybe where homie at? Where Jordan Hawkins at? Because Jordan Hawkins contract. No, well, if I do it in this league year, I don't think it would work. But Jordan Hawkins potentially, and like it would have to be something like this. If I do it in this league year, I don't think it would work. It would have to be in the off season when Jordan Hawkins is making more, because I would have to decline a Looney contract. Like the money would have to make sense. It's probably doable more in the off season than right now. I'm just focused on the scenario that they could do right now before the league year changed. You say, damn, Chunk saying trade Derek Queen. You know what's funny though? I don't really know. It looked perfect. It saved the Pelicans $5 million, bro. Look, if you do this deal and it saved the Pelicans $5 million, you decline Kevon Looney's option. Now that bring you to about close to 15 to 17 million. That bring you close to 15 to 17 million, if I'm not mistaken, going into the off season, right? Then you could go get Goga. You could go get and you got a roster spot. So now you got 3 roster spots available instead of 2. You would have 3 roster spots available. So you go get Amir Carver, go get Goga, and then you could go get somebody else. You could go get somebody else potentially. You got a point guard. You got a backup point guard. Now you could put all your resources into shooting and a center, and you would have about 15 to 17 million dollars if my math is correct to go find that. And you still got Jordan Poole and what's homie name? Jordan Poole and Jordan Hawkins at they would combine for what, 41? You still got them two on a $41 million expiring salary combined that you can move. Say who gonna take Poole off our hands? Any team looking to move, like for example, Memphis. If they thought Ja Morant's contract was bad, because he would have 2 years on that contract after this, and they just wanted to clear their books, they could just take Jordan Poole for Ja Morant, and they would just clear their books. Just clear their books. Now for the Pelicans though, I would probably need. Nah, not really. I was about to say I probably would need some incentive to take on that money if I'm just giving you something to clear your books. But probably not. But yeah, this offseason. But before the new league year, something like this is probably doable if they did this before the new league year, right? We're gonna get to a couple other versions of this that could work out. Like, this is hypothetically speaking. Again, if they said, man, we're gonna start, fuck it, we starting Jeremiah Fairs. We not going after no Ja Morant. We good. We don't want Ja Morant. We want Jeremiah Fairs to start, and we gonna go get a center. Again, Joe has a relationship with Scott Perry and that King. He got a relationship with the Kings organization himself. So it would have to be something like this. Again, this is something I believe you can do before the league year kicks in. Same parties going out. DeJounte, Herb. I'm not giving them no picks. They probably could talk me into a protected first, but I probably wouldn't give them one. No, maybe this, and I'll probably have to throw in a small salary or so. I would, if they wanted a center, then they would get interesting. But I would try to see if I can convince them to take Jordan Hawkins. Again, it would have to be this league year. I would see if I can convince them to take Jordan Hawkins. They'll have too many people on their roster, so they probably have to send. Oh, why the fuck I got Zach LaVine here? What am I doing? I meant Domantas Sabonis. Let me see here. So yeah, I probably wouldn't have to add Hawkins in this scenario. Let's see. All right, let's see here. All right, they probably would have to waive somebody though. Let's see, would it work? Yep, it would work. It would work. So, and they would only have 15 standard contracts, so they wouldn't even have to waive anyone. Would they take back? Nah, because they already a cap team. And here's the thing too. This is why the Kings would do something like this. This is why the Kings would do something like this in theory. Because the Kings are so close to the luxury tax going into next season, and they only have about 9 players under contract. So they're gonna need like people on the roster to like they're gonna need players. They gotta attract talent, and they don't have many avenues to get them. They gotta turn Zach LaVine and Domantas Sabonis into multiple players, and that shit is easier said than done. This is one way for them to do that. Josh said, "Who's gonna be the starting shooting guard?" In theory, let's say Ja Morant is starting at point. In theory, Zion, Trey. Maybe Sadiq Bey still starting, and your center. Like, you know, in theory, I guess you would say Zion is your shooting guard, but it wouldn't be a ton of shooting in that lineup, depending on who you got at the 5. Just Real say y'all could get Mitchell Robinson. Nah, they don't really have a lot of avenues to get Mitchell Robinson, to be honest. I think Mitchell going to get a nice payday this offseason. Pelicans don't have a ton of cap space. Only way they could do that is if they're able to get off of one of these like contracts and not take much salary back. Then, you know, it would have to be tough. Yeah, Spotrac does have the 26-27 season, but they should be glitchy. Like, for example, when I was using their thing before, they wouldn't let me decline Looney's option. Zilla says, "Is it true we extended Zion?" Whoa, what up with you, Jess? Well, Zilla, it looked like it's the most likely scenario. To me, it looked like the most likely scenario. But that doesn't mean that they wouldn't trade him if a nice deal came up. Let me see. Oh, y'all arguing about trading DQ. Let me see the Kings. Kayla said the Kings moving off LaVine this season because they don't want to pay him. Yeah, but see now I think he got a player option, right? So the thing with the Kings would have to take back multiple like bad contracts just to like somebody would have to offer them like multiple multi-year deals just to take on that $40+ million expiring. It's going to be interesting to figure out who wants to do some shit like that. I hope it ain't the Pelicans. I mean, I kind of dangled out the idea of trading for LaVine at one time. Like, if you want to move bad contracts to take on another bad contract, but it certainly wouldn't be my motherfucking preference. Now, let's see if we could do it for the next league year. Because, again, only thing I don't like about Spotrac is, like, they won't let me decline Looney's option, if I'm not mistaken. Is Looney on the right? Like, see how it's locked? It won't let me decline the option. Like, to me, they need to work on that. They need to work on that. But, see, I can't, well, Contavious Caldwell-Pope, that's a player option. So, it don't matter if he would pick up his option. It matters if I can decline Looney's option because that's a team option. But, whatever, man. All right, but let's just say it was DeJounte and Herb to Memphis. It works. It works. Again, to me, this is the most attractive deal right here for all parties involved. I really like this deal for all parties involved. If I don't have to take back Contavious Caldwell-Pope, cool. And I still got Jordan Poole, Looney, and Jordan Hawkins. Like, in theory, if I picked up Looney's option, which they probably won't, but in theory, that's what, if Jordan Poole making 34 plus Looney's 8, that's 42. I could get to what, damn near $50 million, about $50 million in expiring salary. And I could use that to go get Domantas Sabonis. In theory, because that don't mean that shit would work. Like, I would try to do it on here, but they won't even let me trade Kevon Looney. That's how bonk spot track is. But in theory, something like that would work. Yeah, that would be interesting. Because wait, like, hold on. I might not even have to. Let me try this. Hold up. Let me try this. See if I could add a. No, because then they be making it like, well, all the teams got to touch and shit. Like, pause. That's crazy. Is KCP expiring? Yeah, KCP got a player option that he's probably gonna pick up and expire. Pick up and that'll be expiring. Just Real says it's crazy that the draft was the place to get a big. The league don't have them lying around. Now right now, things are transitioning to a larger thing too. For us, like now you getting the more traditional big-bodied centers. Jana says if JB setting the starters the last 2 games, that's what I saw the other day. I think that's been reported that those guys probably aren't gonna play and they're gonna go with the same rotation. Yo, if you're in here while I'm cooking up this trade, hit the like button for me, man. Share the live, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification. Don Guillory say he hearing Tibbs. Shout out to Don. Don was one of the first people, him, my homie Louisiana girl, who spoke about Malone. Hearing Tibbs. Tibbs fits the mold. He fits the mold. Whoa, Crispy, what's happening? Is y'all ready to have 2 horse voice motherfuckers though in the fan base? You gonna have Tibbs and Egg and Humpty Dumpty, aka Egghead. Like, call the goddamn foul. You gonna have that motherfucker, then you gonna have this motherfucker talking about, yeah, Zion got to play. Like, I don't know. I would take Tibbs. These motherfuckers are lazy. Yeah, I think Tibbs would be interesting. Again, not a tactician necessarily, but a master motivator. And he was going to a few different people's training camps as well, right? He was going to a few different people's training camps as well, trying to stay close to the game this season. So I'm gonna reset this and see an avenue. Select new teams. That's how you do it. Okay. See an avenue in which the Pelicans could, in theory, walk away with Sabonis and Ja Morant this offseason, because it is kind of possible, to be honest. Mathematically, it is possible. And I think they can avoid the tax. You just won't have many avenues to add shooting. That's going to be the tough part. All right. So, in theory, you know what? Let me see if I can just make it a 3-team deal and see if it'll work on here. Again, Spot Trackers is kind of shaky, y'all. Y'all, please forgive me. Spot Trackers is a little shaky. Let's see if I can make it a 3-team deal and see if it would even work. Probably won't, but let's see if it'll work. Again, it probably won't work. So let's say, hypothetically speaking, Ja to New Orleans, Murray to, I guess, let's say Memphis. Let's say Jordan Poole to Sacramento. No, it won't work because I can't trade Looney. So fuck it. Never mind. It won't let me trade Looney. So in theory, if you wanted to get some bonus, it would have to be like Looney and Jordan Poole and maybe a first. Looney, Jordan Poole, and maybe a first to bring in Sabonis. Can Sabonis shoot? Not really. He don't take a lot of threes, but he's an awesome the defensive ranks, just that alone, him and his ability to get defensive rebounds. But he's also not a center. What the fuck am I spelling? He's also not a center, in my opinion. Sabonis, in my opinion, is a power forward. He's a power forward, but they got their center for the future, so they don't really need Sabonis. That's the thing. Oh yeah, Quentin Grimes is another person. Quentin Grimes is another person that's going to be available this offseason. He had a pretty solid season. Didn't get the payday he thought he was going to get, just like Cam Thomas and Kuminga and a few of those other guys. And the way Kuminga playing right now, I wouldn't be shocked if Atlanta just denied that team option and declined that team option, and Kuminga just became a free agent. I don't know. But we're looking at Sabonis 29. I'm sorry. Yeah, he's 29. So he fit the timeline. Averaged 15 and 11 this season, which is pretty much what he typically does. Shot 41% before on 2 attempts. But again, it's 2 attempts. He shot, 41% on 2 attempts. And the Kings wasn't very good last year. Last year averaged 19 and 13. Sabonis is a monster. Don, you think Zion getting a max? Really? Ugh. Man, that would be a very crazy business move If they did that, that would be kind of crazy. I'll be interested in seeing that. That would be funny to me. Don said Dennis Lautry, president of the Saints and the Pelicans, is a crook and has strong relationship with Clutch Sports. Kayla say it's no need for the starters to play, not even worth risking injury with the team history. Yeah, I probably wouldn't even play them, to be honest. Combat Jack said, not gonna lie, Tibbs fits the time period too. Yeah, because Tibbs is like a 2-3 year guy. You know what I'm saying? You give Tibbs a team, see if he can make something happen 2-3 years, then you just move on. That's typically been the history with Tibbs, for better or worse. Fair or unfair, that's typically been his history. So yeah, you know, Sabonis don't really shoot much. He's not much of a shooter. Quentin Grimes is another person. I think I heard that reference. I think not reference, but I think somebody spoke about him on Twitter also. Six Wall Black say Zion getting the max might throw the fans in a rage. Yeah, I think a lot of people will be upset about that. Quentin Grimes shooting 33% on 5 attempts. Jesus Christ. But historically, historically, Quentin Grimes is a great shooter. He shot 38% his rookie year, 38% his sophomore year. And these on high volume 3-point attempts. 36% his fourth year. Fourth year. Then 38% again. Then 39%, 37%. Now he's down to 33%, man. If Quentin Grimes is willing to take like $7 million, if Quentin Grimes is willing to take like $7 million, I think you definitely make that call. He'd have to be willing to come here though. You would have to tell Quentin Grimes, hey, look at what we did for Sadiq Bey. We could do that for you. Like, you know what I'm saying? It had to be a situation like that. Nah, it's not bad. Rondo as a coach. I think Rondo's gonna be a hell of a coach when he ultimately gets the chance. Let's see, go to Quentin Grimes. Quentin Grimes is making $8 million this year. Not a ton of teams gonna have money in the offseason. I mean, you got a team like the Lakers. That could potentially take the Lakers gonna have like $40+ million in money available. 6 Wall Black says OG a catch and shoot player. OG Anunoby. Yeah, he used to be. He used to be considered like a 3-and-D guy. I haven't kept up with his career much since he went to New York, but I know people aren't thrilled with it. But he used to be a really good catch and shoot guy, like a 3-and-D guy. He said he always have big games when Embiid, Maxey, and George be out. Yeah. Some of that could be like what's his shot volume this year? How many shots he taking this year? Taking 10. He seemed like another guy like Sadiq Bey would be, honestly, like a high volume guy. Needs a lot of shots to really like get going. Potentially could be a second unit guy. The Pelicans need all the help they can get. I wouldn't mind bringing him in personally. Like, again, if he willing to take, I want to see like just the league generally, like what the salary cap about to be as far as like who got bread this year. Because going into next year, I know the Lakers gonna have some money. A ton of teams not gonna have money and be able to just sign all these free agents. Like Memphis only got $15 million. I'm sure they got a couple exceptions as well. This don't seem right for Brooklyn, but yeah, I don't know how accurate this is. I'm pretty sure Brooklyn gonna have more space. But you got Charlotte. Yeah, you don't have a ton of teams with cap space and avenues to get better. You just don't have it. Like, looking at this, the Raptors don't got no space. Charlotte doesn't project to have much space. Milwaukee damn sure don't have no space. I thought Indiana had more space than this. I gotta look at this again. Let me see. I gotta look at this again. I'm not totally sure about this one. Again, to me, Spot Track is a little shaky to me. Peace will say, never heard anything negative about Poole in the locker room. I did see 2 articles in an interview with Jeremiah and Bryce saying how much he's helped them. Yeah, I mean, like the people who said it, like their word doesn't like tend to travel too far, but it's something that has been said. I will say that. It's something that has been said. Fist of Black Star, what's happening with your homie? 62 said Curry $62 million, Tatum max $313, Zion. Oh, we talking about, y'all comparing all that. Whoa, what's happening with your 504? Fist, what's the deal? T5 the Great, what's the deal, man? 41 likes. How many people in the building? That might be good. I don't even know how many people in the building. I don't even be looking, man. I just be rapping with y'all. With some of the let me see. What's some of the potential acquisitions y'all thinking about? Now, via trade, again, to me, the two home run swings via trade are Sabonis and Ja Morant, and both of them are very possible, especially since the Pelicans have all of their own first. Yo, it's 62 people in the building. We have 41 likes. Hit the like button. Let's get it up to 62 likes if possible. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Jada said, Chad, so there's a chance we could get Ja Morant this summer. Yeah, it's absolutely a chance. Absolutely a chance they could get him. Is it the most likely? I would say Ja Morant to the Pelicans is the second most, in my opinion, would be the second most likely after, what's that team? After Miami. I think Ja Morant would be the second most likely after Miami. Because, again, you know, by all reports, he wanted to go to Miami, and he, whatchamacallit? Florida, no tax state. Just real estate, pay Mark Williams and make him a staple piece. Mark Williams is with Phoenix right now, right? Is he having a good year with Phoenix? Is he hurt again? Now, Mark Williams never stayed healthy, though. That's his problem. Mark Williams is extremely talented. He just never healthy. Is he having a good year in Phoenix? Not Mark Workman. I know he got to compete with Cayman Malowak. I know Mark Williams feeling the pressure from Malowak as a rookie. You know what I'm saying? So that's something I'm sure he competing with there. But, man, I mean, he played 59 games so far. Started most of them, averaging 11 and 8. That's not terrible for him. It's a bit underwhelming. It's a bit underwhelming based on what my expectations for him was and what his talent level is, in my opinion. But, hold on, my bad. Let me get to the free agents, man. Yeah, like, just based on what I thought he was going to be able to do, that's a little shaky. But, what can you do? What can you do? Let's see. All right, available. LeBron. Nah, let's be realistic here. Let's go to some shooting. Let's say guard, right? And we're gonna go to unrestricted free agents. All right, so free agency wise, guys who are guards who could come in, who probably not gonna get a lot of money. Anthony Simon's probably not gonna get a lot of money. He's probably not gonna get a lot of money this offseason. I think if he would have stayed with Boston, he might have played himself into a payday, but I just don't see it. Just don't see it. Just don't see it. Savage, what's the deal, bro? Let's see who else. Norman Powell, older guy, probably wants to ring chase. Colin Sexton, point guard. I don't think he has any history with Dumas. Herter, another guy. Probably that 16 probably was his last payday. Depending on how he does in the postseason, but I think no matter what, that's gonna be his last significant payday. Matisse Thybulle, yeah, cool. Like, hold on, we need to be looking somewhere way different. To me, Quentin Grimes, a guy like Quentin Grimes, you know, a person who could kind of give you a fraction of what Peyton Watson gave you. Peyton Watson is having a Quentin Grimes-like season, but we saw how that worked out for Quentin Grimes. Quentin Grimes, you got guys like, let's go way down. You know what I'm saying? You got Cam Thomas, scratch off, you know, type deal if you wanted to make something like that happen. Amir Coffey, again, this is a guy who can shoot the ball pretty well. Let's see what Amir Coffey is shooting this year. He was someone I wanted us to bring in last offseason. Now this is just like, I'm talking about avenues to add perimeter talent and scoring, right? Well, like shooting, not scoring per se, but shooting. What did he shoot from 3 this year? He shot 37% from 3 again this year. Wait, I'm tripping. Am I looking at the right thing? Hold up. On the season? No, 31%. He shot 31% from 3 this year because he got traded. He barely played when he was in Milwaukee, which is crazy because his last season with his last couple seasons with the Knicks. I'm not the Knicks, the Clippers. I thought he played well. Like his last season, which was last year with the Clippers, he shot 40%. Before that, he shot 38%. Someone like this you need to bring in. Someone like Amir Coffey you need to bring in and hope he can revive his career from beyond the arc, in my opinion. Squallow say think we would have to give up Trey for Ja. Nah, I wouldn't even do that, to be honest. I don't think Ja's value is there no more, to be honest. I don't think so. Because and then I think you would have more problems because now you really need shooting. You still needed it, But now you ain't got nobody that can shoot. Let me see. But yeah, I really would like if they walked away from this offseason with like if I don't know how possible this is, like just being realistic. But if they walked away with Ja Morant, Quentin Grimes, and Goga Batadze, to me that's a A+ offseason. It's an A+ offseason. If they could do it. Let's go to centers. Let's see what centers are available. Vucevic probably about to start playing for like $8 million. Yo, you know who a wild card? Who a real fucking wild card? Kristaps Porzingis. I don't think Kristaps Porzingis would ever really play again, like at a high consistent level. But trade DQ for Khalil Ware, I don't think they would do that. Louisiana Gal said, "What did you think of AD saying he would stay?" Yeah, I think. Oh yeah, Anthony. If Griff would have drafted Ja, Anthony Davis is lying. Anthony Davis lying. Everybody knew that offseason prior to him. Well, what up, Zeke? Everybody knew that offseason prior to him, like the basketball season started. As soon as he signed with Clutch, it was like, all right, Anthony Davis is gone. You probably need to trade him. Everybody knew that. Like, he was leaving no matter what. This nigga's crazy. And then he talking about some. It is ironic because David Griffin actually tried to trade Drew Holiday for the number 2 pick so he could draft Ja Morant. It's crazy how shit works out. But this nigga talk like Ja is not a traditional pass first point guard. Drew Holiday excelled next to like Elfrid Payton and Rondo. Ja Morant is not that type of point guard. You would have had to get Drew the fuck up out of here anyway. Like this dude, Anthony Davis just, I don't know. Anthony Davis out his fucking mind. Like I don't know. He's just out of his mind. I don't know. Like, you know, I'm one of them people. I don't hate Anthony Davis, but I'm just like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? Like, come on, man. But just looking at centers that's gonna be available. Got a guy like Vucevic, and these are just unrestricted. You got team options that'll be declined as well. But let's say Vucevic, and if you want to stretch big, he probably not gonna ask for more than like 10. Robert Williams, if you want to take a chance on him and his injuries. Mo Wagner, his brother will probably have him coming back. You got an old Detroit native in Andre Drummond. Nick Richards. I can't believe Nick Richards only been in the league 6 years. Nick Richards was pretty good in Charlotte that 1 year. Then it get real lean around this bitch. You get real lean. Now these are centers, but you still got guys like Marvin Bagley. You got Tyree Eason, who's restricted. Tyree Eason is a restricted free agent. He probably could do something with him if, you know, because I don't think he's going to demand much money. He would have to have an incredible postseason, in my opinion. Now, let's go with club option. Now, this is a little interesting. You got, and this is at the center position again. You got Hartenstein. You got Sharp. And to me, that's kind of where the list ends. Hartenstein and Sharp kind of where the list ends. I'm not really familiar with Michael Potter too much. But this is, you know, where the list ends. For power forward with club options, you got Kuminga. You got, Kuminga is undersized forward, but Kuminga. Trace Jackson Davis, he was a guy that I used to think was interesting in Golden State. Carlo, they probably picking up Carlo option. Carlo getting a little expensive, though, 2.3. That ain't that bad, though, but Kenny Williams. If they let go Hustle Kenny or Kenny Hustle, I can see them bringing Kenny Hustle back, y'all. I can see the Pelicans bringing Kenny Hustle back. If Kenny Hustle gets let go with this team option, I can see them bringing Kenny Hustle back. Because I think Troy Weaver was, if I'm not mistaken, Troy Weaver was in OKC when they brought Kenny Hustle in, if I'm not mistaken. So I can see them bringing Kenny Hustle back. I think if we talking about this unrestricted at the 4, I don't know why they got Porzingis at the 4, but Porzingis is probably going to go ring chase somewhere. He already got a ring. I wouldn't be shocked if Porzingis retired, honestly. My guy, John Collins, I would love for them to bring John Collins in, but I don't know if they're going to have enough money to bring him in. Then you got like the usual suspects like Kelly Olynyk. This list is kind of ugly. Marvin Bagley, who's had a quality year. I think they might spend a block on Marvin Bagley, y'all. I think they might spend a block on Marvin Bagley. I really do. Jeremy Sohan not even getting no minutes for the Knicks right now. I hope they leave Jeremy Sohan where the fuck he at. Precious Achiuwa had a hell of a year. He's had a hell of a year, so he probably gonna be making like $6 million next year, something like that probably. Maybe, but we've seen guys have really good years and not really get no money in free agency. So it's really the luck of the draw. Let me see. I want Cayman Malowak. I wish Cayman Malowak was free agent. Oh yeah, Cayman Malowak should have been a number 1 pick, bro. He really should have. Janice, I think Herb and DeJounte have the most negative part of the roster, and of course, coaching rotations. Yeah, Herb had a depressingly bad year. I think Walker catches out of the price range, to be honest, Jay Black. I really do. Louisiana Gal said, I think either way or Bam ends up getting traded. I heard Nick Harrison told Pat that he'd have to get a star. I put one next to Bam. Well, put a star next to him and blow it up. Yeah, I think Bam just not a star. Like, that's the thing. Well, a star in the traditional sense. Like, I think Bam and Zion like in the same tier right now. Like, and that's the thing. It's like, you kind of need some people next to you to really take this to another level. And I think if Miami being realistic and looking at that roster with Tyler Hero and Jaime and all them dudes, man, y'all ain't got no pathway. Y'all ain't got no pathway back to the finals. Y'all gonna have to blow that fucking team up. And you in a great market. You're gonna attract some free agents. Y'all gonna have to just go ahead and do that. Because even if they got Ja and it was like Ja and Bam, it was like, who else you really got? Like, how would you supplement the rest of that roster? It'd be tough, but you got a great coach, and that'll help do a few different things. Let me see. Emmett say the correct coach for this team is Rajon Rondo. That would be nice. Rondo would be an excellent mentor for Fizz, and Rondo would bring attitude the team needs. He has a championship experience, would bring that dog to the team. Yeah, I think they would be hesitant to go with not only a first-year head coach, but a first-year head coach with such limited experience. That's the only reason I think, because this is what, Rondo's second year as an assistant or something like that. Might be his fucking first year as an assistant. But like, he hasn't had many years as an assistant, if I'm not mistaken. So that's why I think the dream probably wouldn't come true. I wish they would hire him as an assistant. Like, this probably won't happen. But if they hired Darvin Ham and Darvin Ham was like, I'm going to bring Rondo with me, I was like, oh shit. Like, yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. That would be interesting. Like, if I got Rondo, if we signed Darvin Ham, but it came with Rajon Rondo, I would respect that. I would be like, all right, cool, let's do it. Rondo could be the lead for Ham. Oh, you talking about in Milwaukee? Oh, you talking about here? Yeah, absolutely. He can be the lead assistant for Ham, in my opinion. But if Doc Rivers get let go, they could just stay in Milwaukee. They don't got to move. They don't got to sell their house. They ain't got to do shit. They can just stay in Milwaukee and he be the lead for Ham there. So there's a lot of ways this could go. Jack and Margella said they need smart players like Kelly Olynyk. Maybe not him specifically, but they need a handful of high IQ players on the roster. Yeah, because I feel like this year you just saw the IQ just regress. It was never super high in my opinion, but it just seemed like it regressed this year, like in a major way. Yo, we gonna get to some fan questions, man. We gonna wrap it up in like 15. Well, let's do like 10 more minutes. Hit the like button for me if you haven't hit the like button yet. Take a second, hit the like button. Send all your questions in. Any questions you got, let's talk about it, man. As we bring this show to a close, we're gonna be back tomorrow covering that Celtics game. But what y'all want to talk about while we here? Let's see. Squallow say Mitchell Robinson with Eve and Carlo as backup. I just don't think they can afford him. Like, Mitchell Robinson already on a nice contract, and I think this offseason he gonna be highly sought after for teams that need like that defensive presence. One team that could really benefit from Mitchell Robinson, in my opinion, would be, well, no, because the Pacers just got Zubac, so they don't need Mitchell Robinson. But he fits like that archetype to me. He would fit like that, the archetype of what I see that team as. Another team that would be smart to try to get Mitchell Robinson, they don't really have avenues to do it, would be the Cleveland Cavaliers. Because I think the Jared Allen experiment with them is over, in my opinion. Say, when are you doing call-ins for the fans? Man, I'm gonna try to. We gonna me and Elvin gonna do it. Elvin's sick right now. We gonna do it, and because that's on StreamYard. On this, it won't let me drop the link so they could call. But on StreamYard, you could call. So next time me and Elvin go live, which will probably, if the game Friday, me and Elvin probably go live maybe Sunday, and then I'll drop the link and people could call. Yeah, Rockets could use Mitchell Robinson too, especially with Steven Adams being gone. They gonna miss Steven Adams. I don't think the Rockets are very good anyway, but they gonna miss Steven Adams. Most say you think Fizz or LaMelo will be better players in 2 or 3 years. I don't want to disrespect LaMelo. I'm gonna just say LaMelo, cause I don't want to disrespect Melo like that. I hope Melo is, cause Melo is such a good player right now. I don't wanna, I don't wanna do that. I'm gonna say LaMelo. Now, once Fizz get to his second contract, then it might be a little more, like something, no? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think I can see Fizz taking, like we had a Sixers fan in here, shout out to him. I can see Fizz being a lesser Maxey, like a lesser version of Maxey. I'm not gonna say Maxey because I don't want to be disrespectful, but I can see him being a lesser version of Maxey. Zion fits well in Charlotte. I think he would fit well. Let's see him, like, got a great coach over there, got some great shooters, got some ball movement. That would be a nice thing. But I just don't see a deal that would work for me. Like, if I was trading with Charlotte, I just don't think I see a deal that I think would work. Squallow say the Pat Riley days past this era of players. Yeah, like, to me, again, this was my issue with the Derek Queen thing. You can't build around undersized centers. I can't think of one undersized. When the last time an undersized center was the best player on a championship team? When was the last time? You can't think of it. Like, it would be tough. D said, what would it take to get Khalil Ware? Let's see. Let's just see for shits and giggles. Let's see what will work for Khalil Ware. I don't think it's, but see, now Ben Wallace was the center on that team, but he wasn't the best player. Jackets, Ben Wallace was the center, but he wasn't the best player. Like Bam or Derek would have to be the best player for you to build around them, in my opinion. Look, Dev say the same thing. Like, Ben, but they wasn't the best players. That's the tough part. Ben Wallace is like, he was a hell of a player, absolutely hell of a player, but he wasn't the guy. They want Bam to be the guy. They drafted Queen thinking Queen could be one of the guys, and it's like, I don't know. I just never seen that archetype be the guy. Like, I just never seen it. Like, even the best players, when you think of that archetype, like, think about Sabonis and Sengun. Like, they never won nothing, at least not yet. Who knows? Maybe the Rockets go all the way this year, but then they got Kevin Durant, so who knows? But let's see, Miami Heat. Well, yeah, Miami, right here, bam. All right, let's see. What would it take to get Khalil Ware? Khalil Ware is making, he making $4 million. Damn, they don't got nobody on this fucking roster. See, it'll be hard to do, bro. It'll be hard to do, bro. You would have to take on, in theory, right? This is in theory. They need a point guard. But see, it won't allow me to trade anybody but Tyler Hero. Let's just say hypothetically speaking, right? This wouldn't happen, but let's just say hypothetically speaking. If it was Tyler Hero and Khalil Ware to New Orleans for DeJounte, let's say they want to be competitive. DeJounte and do they even got cap space? I don't even know if they got cap space like that. Let's say it was DeJounte and Herb and a 2030 first. Yeah, they don't even got the cap space to do that. So they would have to send something back. Let's say Miami sent, I don't know, shit. Let's say they just sent a random guy back. Let's say it was Drew Smith. Let's say they sent Drew Smith. Something like this would work. In theory. Something like this in theory would work. Probably. I think Miami probably would need a little bit more. It depends, because sometimes they don't even play Khalil Ware. Like, Spo and Khalil Ware don't have the best relationship. But they got their point guard. They get a former All-Star. Tyler Hero barely even fucking play anyway. So you get to move off his expiring and buy yourself some more time to do something with that. What Tyler Hero numbers looking like this year? Is Tyler Hero balling this year? Because Tyler Hero barely fucking plays. Like, I know, and Pat Riley came out and was like, man, no, indeed, you need to play. Man, I know you fucking lying. Tyler Hero only played 31 games this year. Is this real? Is this correct, y'all? Has Tyler Hero only played 31 games this year? Oh yeah. Then yeah, you probably, yeah. You that they might be interested in doing that. Can we steal Davion Mitchell? I don't think you gotta steal him, to be honest. But I don't really know I wouldn't want Davion Mitchell, really, because Davion Mitchell's like an undersized defense first guard. You know? I wouldn't really. Davion Mitchell wasn't really good in Sacramento, in my opinion. They could keep him, in my opinion. And I mean, they would need a backup point guard in this scenario. Damn, Tyler. Yeah, they probably getting rid of Tyler, to be honest. They probably could get rid of Tyler on the real. I think something like this might work if they was like, we're gonna lie to ourselves and say we're gonna be competitive. But I don't know. I think it depends though. It just depends on how people value Herb. How they would value Herb versus Khalil Ware. Because if you say, I'll give you, maybe you would probably have to add Eve Messi in this. So let's say you added Eve. Would that make it more fair? I mean, because to me, this seemed like, I ain't gonna lie, this seemed like highway rivalry for the Pelicans, from my opinion. Maybe I'm being too whatchamacallit, though. So wait, it wouldn't work because there's too much money going out. Yeah, I don't know, son. I don't think it will work. I don't think they'd do it. I don't think they'll do it. And they salary cap real fucked up too. They salary cap real fucked up. The only way it would work is if you didn't send them Eve and they were just like cool with this. Squallow say Fierce could be like Derrick Rose, similar body type, explosion and dog. I ain't gonna lie, I don't see that level of athleticism from Fierce. Derrick Rose is like jumping out the gym. When Fierce go to dunk, sometimes I don't think Fierce could dunk, but he has dunked recently. He's been much better finishing at the rim. But it'll be interesting. 2X say I hear Ja would like to be traded to Timberwolves or the Heat, but see, I can believe that too, especially the Wolves, because everybody would love to play with Ant, right? I don't think the Wolves have many avenues to get something like that done. Because what you gonna trade? Like you gonna trade Julius Randle? Let's see. What the Wolves do? Julius Randle, maybe. Say D Rose reminded me of a point guard version of Young D Wade. Fierce ain't that. Yeah, I think Fierce a little too small too. If Fierce was like 6'4", I probably could see it. But he looks 6'2". Jack is saying Fierce's ceiling is Monte Ellis. To me, Fierce's ceiling is I think he could be a lesser version of Maxey. I really think he could be a lesser version of Maxey. Let me see. Hold up. Miami probably gets Giant Giannis. I'd be shocked if they do that. Because they don't have enough salary to send out to make a lot of those things work. They don't have that. That's really the issue. Like they got some guys. Bam, to me, got one of the worst contracts in the NBA. They just got too many guys making too much money that like aren't really highly sought after players. So, whoa, what up with your P Fowler? How you doing, sis? Debo the guard say Giants are getting traded unless they get multiple firsts and some young starters. Shit, I think they would just look to get rid of Ja because shit getting worse and worse for Ja in Memphis from what I'm reading. Now, of course, you got some stuff you take with a grain of salt, but it seemed like shit getting worse and worse. Yeah, I think it would have to be something like, well, I got Minnesota. Well, I got the Miami Heat and Minnesota. I'm tripping. So it would have to be the Timberwolves and the Memphis Grizzlies. I don't know why the fuck I said Miami Heat. But let's see. And they traded in division. Well, not in division. They traded in conference. So if it was going to be Ja going to Minnesota, it would have to be. Ooh. Yeah, they don't have a ton of avenues to get this done. It would have to be like they would. For one, Memphis would have to want to take this back. Like Julius, let's say Julius is on pretty much an expiring. But for all of that, you could have just kept Ja. Dante is on the expiring. They can do something like this. This is a very fair trade for everyone involved. But they would have to fill out the rest of this roster if you the Wolves, and now you got to go find some shooting. They only got 8 motherfuckers on the roster after a deal like this. It would be tough. And Rudy getting a little bit older, it would be tough. It would be tough. Debo said we don't have the assets to get Ja unless we give up Queen Affairs with Trey and Herb. Nah, I disagree. I disagree, Debo. I ain't gonna lie. I think Ja gonna get traded for some bullshit this offseason. And if he get traded for like next to nothing, I think we all gonna be upset. I ain't gonna lie. Swallow said, good night, Louisiana guy. I'm about to get out here too, man. Shout out to everybody in the building. Make sure y'all hit that like button. When we get the members exclusive tomorrow. Oh, I dropped 2 episodes yesterday, sis. Was it yesterday? Well, it really was one. It was one short episode, and I dropped the second part of it. The crazy thing is, when I do the vertical videos, it just converts them to shorts. I don't know if y'all even get the notification for those shorts in the members episodes? I don't even know if y'all do, because I don't know, when I film it that way, it just automatically makes it a short. I hate that it does that. Say Julius Randle's going to end up hating Memphis after 6 months, back to square one again for Memphis. Oh, yeah, I think if they trade Ja, I just think they're looking to get, like, future draft capital and some expiring salary, or, like, a pick or two, like maybe a first. I think the Pelicans would, or somebody they could turn into first. Say, Chaz, how would you react if Troy hires Ham as the coach? I wouldn't be that upset about it, honestly. I don't really get the Darvin Ham dislike. I think because sometimes they don't get see, that's what I thought too, P Fowler. I was like, the alerts must not be going out for these shorts. I'm gonna just have to start like putting the camera horizontal, so I probably could film it better and it'll just be a regular video. That's what I probably start doing. Ham's head coach is about to get fired. Oh, yeah. I wouldn't really trip on them hiring Ham. My thing would be, who is the rest of the roster? Who is the rest of the staff? Like, if they hired a great head coach, let's say they hired Tibbs, and they brought back the same assistant coaches, I'm gonna be like, well, this is a waste of time. This is a waste of time. If you hire Tibbs and bring back Borrego and Casey Hill and Collins and these guys, to me, this is a waste of fucking time. Like, let's rip the Band-Aid totally off. Like, let's not do this. Like, and that's gonna piss me out. That's gonna piss me off. Say, yeah, Chad, they're not gonna be giving out those $40 million. Yeah, I think those contracts are a thing of the past unless you like a real deal guy now. Or unless a team trades for you. I think if a team trades for you, they have more incentive to pay you. But as a free agent, I don't think they're gonna be doing that. But Borrego straight disrespected Joe, so he be getting rid of him, no doubt. I hope so. Because again, when I was told that, it's one thing for us to like suspect something, like, oh, they must be some miscommunication going on here, because I'm sure he don't like this. But it's another thing for someone to confirm it who super, like the person I talked to, super duper close to the situation, like super close to the situation. So I'm like, we'll see how it goes from there. Dev says son slid on son from Locked On, blah blah dude. Boy, you down bad. You know what's crazy, son? I had look, this is my thing, and I ended on this note. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure y'all subscribe. Make sure y'all hit the bell notification. We going up again tomorrow. But I'm gonna end on this note. When you fuck with somebody that's not fucking with you, like when you come at somebody who not like tripping on you, you don't get to decide when they stop responding, right? You don't get to decide when the beef is over. Motherfucker come at me, I'ma find more hours in a day to seek revenge. I'ma find more hours in a day to drive your dog ass. Ask Humpty Dumpty. Ask Humpty Dumpty. You know what I'm saying? But yo, shout out to everybody in the building, man. Again, we're going to be back tomorrow. I appreciate everybody rocking with me. This was like an impromptu show. Tomorrow we're going to be covering the game, and we're going to be covering the postseason. So I hope y'all have a good weekend. If I don't see y'all, some of y'all again in here, but much love to y'all, man. I appreciate all y'all. And I catch y'all tomorrow, man. Let's try to get these wins and lock up that eighth pick in the draft. Hopefully the fucking pick don't jump. And go get Ja Morant. Go get Ja Morant. Hire a real coach. Trade for Ja Morant. Let's do it, man. Bring some excitement to the building. Let's do it.